Okay, so if you've been keeping an eye on the financial news, wow. The crypto world just went through a truly transformative week. We're talking about a really pivotal moment here, something that kind of reshaped its whole path forward and sped up its integration with traditional finance. So, our deep dive today is all about getting under the hood of this massive shift. We're drawing from these detailed excerpts. They're titled The Bullish Future of Crypto, Genius Act, and Markets Surge. And our mission really is to pull out the key insights from these sources. We want to help you understand what's really driving this bullish future they talk about, and why, honestly, being informed right now is just more critical than ever.
All right, let's unpack this then. The source material, it paints this incredibly vivid picture, doesn't it? A market right at an inflection point. You've got major legislative moves, these huge market reactions happening almost instantly. It's fundamentally changing the game. What's the first thing that really jumps out at you from all this?
Yeah, it's definitely the regulatory piece. That clarity, it's something that's been, talked about forever, but actually seeing it arrive, our sources really emphasize this as like the foundational shift, the thing that really unlocked all this momentum we're seeing now. It feels like the linchpin.
Okay, yeah, the linchpin. And speaking of that foundation, the Genius Act really stands out. The sources call it a historic milestone. They specifically mentioned it being signed by President Trump, marking it as the first major piece of U.S. crypto legislation. From your perspective, what makes this specific act so impactful?
Well, the core of its impact, I think, really boils down to that mandate for one-to-one stablecoin reserves. That's not just some technical rule. It hits directly at the systemic risks, right? The things that cause past stablecoins to depay and create all that volatility.
Right, those blowups really hurt confidence.
Exactly. So by making sure every digital dollar is actually backed by, real audited assets, it fundamentally de-risks things, especially for the big institutional players. It builds a level of trust, a predictability that just wasn't there before. It's like a government-approved on-ramp for all that capital that's been sitting on the sidelines.
So the act laid down that crucial foundation.
Yeah.
How quickly did we see the market react? Like, start building on it? Because the numbers in the sources, they're kind of eye-watering.
Oh, it was almost instantaneous. Really quite remarkable. We saw Bitcoin just surge, hitting an incredible $123,000.
Wow. 123K.
Yeah, and that pushed the total crypto market cap past the $4 trillion mark.
4 trillion.
It's this unprecedented surge, but it's more than just a new high number. I think it represents a real psychological break for traditional investors. It signals crypto may be maturing, moving from just a niche speculative thing to perhaps a legitimate long-term store of value. That could fundamentally change how big financial institutions think about allocating funds.
Okay, so the whole market reacted big time. But let's zoom in a bit. What about specific players, specific assets?
Yeah.
Because some of the biggest names made huge moves according to this.
Absolutely. And what's really fascinating, I think, is seeing how these traditional finance giants aren't just like dipping their toes in anymore. They're actively innovating in the space.
Like BlackRock.
Exactly like BlackRock. Teasing staking features for their Ethereum ETFs, that's a potential game changer.
How so?
Well, it lets traditional investors earn yield, passive income on their crypto holdings, but inside a familiar ETF structure.
Ah, okay. So blending crypto earning potential with something they already understand.
Precisely. It merges the two worlds. And then you have Ripple's XRP hitting a new all-time high, $3.65. That really suggests renewed institutional interest beyond just Bitcoin or Ethereum, a re-engagement with other specific projects.
Okay, so the giants are moving, innovating. But is this just about the big players, or is the whole ecosystem feeling this momentum? Are we seeing growth spread out?
Yeah, it definitely seems to be broadening out. The ecosystem is expanding, no doubt. Look at Solana launching its first ETF.
Right, solidifying its spot.
Exactly. It shows growing acceptance for a wider range of these blockchain networks in the institutional world. And then there's Coinbase's Base app.
The super app idea.
Aiming to be this stablecoin-powered super app.
Yeah.
If you connect that to the bigger picture, it's about expanding utility, right? Beyond just buying and holding as an investment.
So moving towards everyday use.
Potentially, yeah. This whole super app concept hints at crypto becoming more integrated into our daily digital lives, making it more accessible and more functional.
And this isn't just a U.S. story, is it? The sources point towards a global picture, international developments, enterprise adoption. How does that fit in?
That's a really crucial piece. The global regulatory angle is key.
Yeah.
You see Asia, for example, doubling down on crypto-friendly regulations.
Okay.
Which makes you wonder, right? How does global regulatory alignment, or maybe the lack of it, how does that affect this whole integration process?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And we're also seeing these tech giants like Bit Digital and QNB really accelerating their tokenization initiatives. That's super significant.
Tokenization. Explain that a bit more. Why is it significant?
Well, it's basically turning real-world assets, think property, commodities, art, whatever, into digital tokens on a blockchain.
Yep.
This isn't just retail hype. It's a systemic shift across industries, across continents. It unlocks massive liquidity. Suddenly you can have fractional ownership of, say, a building and trade it instantly globally.
Yeah.
It makes traditionally illiquid assets way more dynamic.
Wow, okay. That opens up a lot. And with all this positive movement, it sounds like the altcoin market is buzzing too. Sources mention HBAR, FLR surging, sparking hopes for an altcoin season. What does that tell us?
Yeah, altcoin performance is often seen as a kind of indicator, a bellwether for broader market confidence and maybe an increased appetite for risk. Seeing them surge, especially after the Genius Act and these big institutional moves, it suggests that the new clarity and confidence are sort of trickling down. It implies investors, maybe everyone from retail to institutions, are getting more comfortable looking beyond just Bitcoin and Ethereum, viewing the whole crypto space as more legitimate, more stable, perhaps.
So bringing it all together, what does this really mean for us, for you listening? This deep dive, it seems to paint a really clear picture, doesn't it? Crypto moving decisively from the edges right into the financial mainstream. You've got this Genius Act providing that regulatory anchor, these huge market surges, big institutions jumping in, and this accelerating integration with traditional finance. It feels like a fundamental reshaping.
I think that's right. The crypto world is rapidly integrating with traditional finance, and the outlook, according to these sources, has never looked more bullish. And importantly, like you said, it's not just about the price going up. It's about these fundamental shifts in the structure, in adoption, and potentially how we'll all interact with digital assets day to day.
So let's leave our listeners with something to chew on. Given this incredibly rapid integration we've discussed and all these new possibilities popping up like these stablecoin power super apps for daily stuff or tokenizing real-world assets, creating whole new investment types, what might be the next frontier? Where else could crypto impact our daily lives, maybe in ways we haven't even thought much about yet, beyond just finance?